Good morning and welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm your host, Justine Reichman. Today is Hoda, and she is going to tell you all about Chakra Chai and why she founded it and what inspired her and how we can support other women-founded businesses this Mother's Day that actually not only are built by women, but support those women to have the best possible love and life that they can.
Hi, Justine. Thank you for having me on again. It's really good to be here, and it's really an honor to be able to speak as a mother and founder, CEO of a conscious company and conscious brand to other mothers who are also founders or who are not founders. Because without our mothers, we wouldn't be here, right?
True.
And we absolutely need to put mothers and the relationship, that nurturing maternal relationship, at the forefront of our families, of our communities, and also of our businesses, and maybe also how we lead businesses as well. So yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Chakra Chai. We are the first spiritual somatic food and beverage company on the market, which means that our products are intended to and designed to support not only your physical body, but your emotional and your spiritual bodies as well. And that is definitely a place where mothers feel the brunt and the force of life, is on our emotions and our energy and energetic bodies. And yeah, we'd love to be able to support them.
Well, I think I'm so excited to have you on this Mother's Day because I think that a lot of these podcasts really talk about the founders and their journey, and that's really important. And motherhood even plays a role in yours, and we could share a little bit about that. But I really want to be able to provide these stories for inspiration, these products for inspiration to the mothers, so the community can better understand what we're doing to support each other and maybe even inspire other founders and other mothers to do the same thing in turn, right? So before we go on, if you could just kind of talk about some of these truffles a little bit and which one you want to focus on today as it relates to moms this Mother's Day, that would be great.
So the one I'd love to speak to first and foremost is love.
I got
And
love too.
yeah, you've got love too. We've got enough love around, whole lot of love. And as you can see, there's a hashtag on the side of the truffle box that says hashtag nourish our mothers. And the reason is because we actually, the whole love or heart chakra range or ranges that we created were the very first ones that we created, because we believe that the heart is the starting point for everything, right? For all of our relationships, for all that we do. And the charity that we support with this, because we support 7 charities, as you know, is Every Mom Counts. It's a charity that was set up by Chrissy Turlington for mothers and babies and pregnant mothers. And so we created a virtuous cycle, if you will, with the creation of this product, because not only, and some of our listeners know that my personal story as a mother that was quite tragic, but that was transformed into something really rather triumphant. I started this as a mother, and then the very first product gives back to mothers through the charity. But the actual product itself is formulated to really support the heart, not only cardiovascular health, but emotional health and serenity, because mothers give so much, right? We're giving, giving, giving. And then to actually feel enveloped, feel embraced and nourished ourselves. But then it goes one step further, because the way that we source all of our ingredients, which are 100% organic and over 95% regenerative, is that we're supporting regenerative organic agricultural practices that are in turn re-nurturing and regenerating Mother Earth. So mother's
It's all
about
about the
This
It's all
one,
about
oh,
the moms.
every mom
So
you.
I love that. And I'm curious though, and I know that we've talked about it, but for our listeners, because last time I don't think we spoke about these truffles. And so I'd like to just talk about the journey it was for you to figure out what goes into this truffle to be able to achieve what you were hoping to achieve through chakra for these, for love, etc. Whether it's for love, root, spirit, etc. But what the journey was like to figure out how to create that.
Well, that's a really great question because actually, I personally am not an Ayurvedic practitioner. And I received this entire concept of Chakra Chai from, as one journalist put it, from the beyond, right? From my son, Arta. And so I was incredibly just in awe as to how I was brought together with a third generation Gujarati Ayurveda practitioner. And the two of us began the R&D process. And the whole thing is that the chakras are part of our subtle bodies, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
in Ayurveda, they relate to the sub doshas, not the doshas, right? So you can be tried perfect balance and your chakras can be all over the place, right? And vice versa. So how do we create a physical product, a material product that is actually addressing almost an immaterial or an energetic need? And that took me essentially close to 3 years. We did the original R&D and then it was like tweak after tweak after tweak. So there's a proprietary way that we've blended and where we maturate these herbs in a synergistic ratio so that
Mm-hmm.
there might be very little of something, but the way that it works with something else really amplifies its effect. Second thing is we use only whole herb adaptogens. So we're really harnessing the intelligence of plants and of nature and not just isolating an extract. And then the third level is that we calibrate and activate all of our products with sound frequencies throughout the entire production. So essentially, we're setting the intention, we're harnessing the intelligence of the whole herbs, we're blending synergistically in very precise ratio, and then we're like intensifying and amplifying everything with these sonic frequencies. And then it comes into your hands, and then into your system. And we've got the same medicinal complex that's in these truffles is also in the elixir, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Vedic super drink. But this one is not liquid and this one is liquid. So whatever your needs are in that moment.
So, as we go back, and I remember you just speaking about the fact that you were not an Ayurvedic practitioner, that was not necessarily your skill set, but you knew that this was part of what you were creating. What was it? How did you go out and find the right person or the right team to help you build that out and make sure that you stayed true to your value system?
That's such another great question. You really know how to ask them. Look, a lot of people are throwing around this term consciousness and conscious business, etc. It really hits home very, very deeply and is kind of the axis of it's our raison d'etre in Chakra Chai. Okay. If I'm absolutely honest with you, every single person who was brought to me and with whom I was connected was through divine architecture. I didn't put out a job application and say Ayurvedic practitioner needed, right? That Ayurvedic practitioner was brought together to me. And I could literally, and I would love this, I would love to have the opportunity to have one podcast with you where I literally tell the story, like 3 little stories. How did I meet my co-founder? How did I meet the Ayurvedic practitioner? How did this? Because each one of them is magical. And yeah, the aligned people, and again, that's about frequencies, it's about consciousness. When you meet one another's frequency, it's inevitable that in the quantum realm of existence that you'll be brought together somehow. You just magnetize to each other, and then incredible co-creation and productivity and creativity happens, you know?
It's so amazing. I mean, I believe in that too. I believe in it in the sense that what you put out there, somehow, as you're talking about it, when you believe it and you own it, things naturally come to you. They come, I don't know if it's because we're putting ourselves subconsciously in that place in front of it. Somehow we take other opportunities up. Um, or it's just manifested because we're sitting there thinking about it all the time. I'm open to any of those rationales being correct, but you know,
Yeah.
it happens. It's like the same thing when we talk about, pursuit of a cure or anything like that. All of a sudden, things just start falling into line when you put the intention forward, when you start to move things forward and you start to talk about it, because people can see the drive, they can see the excitement, and when they try it and they taste it or feel it or watch it or whatever it is, people get excited with you, and they all of a sudden it's like it's a village. That's how I've always felt when I built my businesses,
So,
because
yeah,
when you're a founder, you're excited and
I'll give
people can tell it's authentic.
exactly. I mean, I'll give you one little example that I had met the Sean Ardays, who's my co-founder, before he became my co-founder, and before I had actually received the communication from my son in that meditation, right? And I just met him, and he told me that he'd been mentoring entrepreneurs and had started many businesses himself, etc. And so when we only loosely knew each other, right? And then when I received this communication, I thought to myself, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. Wait a minute. I know I met that one guy, and apparently he knows how to start up this. Let me call him and see if he just thinks I'm crazy. Does he think I'm a raving lunatic? Because I tell him I had a meditation. My dead son told me this, like this is like, hey, let me. So I call him up. He comes over, and I tell him what I've been shown, the Regen Act, the this, the that. And he was gobsmacked, almost, I would say, pale as a sheet. And he said, I can't believe this. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, first of all, for the last 10 years of my life, I've been moving towards and understanding that I need to go towards food and regeneration in my career path. But in the last 5 weeks, I've been doing a yoga nidra meditation led by a teacher, and we have been honing in on manifesting the right business
Opportunity.
organization for me to actually become a part of. And here I come out of the blue and say, hey, Chakra Chai. So it's kind of it makes one very awestruck, right? And we've really tried to carry that sense of awe and that sense of service, again bringing it back to our mothers, to Mother Earth, to our mothers, to the children, to the future, to our elders, and really show that nutrition and food and business is in fact one symphonic communion, right? Around one big family table that is the human family, right?
So, what would you say to other moms that are inspired to start a new business because of an experience, a void they see in the market, however it comes to them? Because I know that there's a lot of challenges oftentimes when, we try to build something and we're a mom and we're raising kids and all these different things. So, as a mom, as somebody built something for moms, inspired by being a mom, and for the benefit of so many, what would you recommend to them?
So, first and foremost, women are exceptional creations of creator. And we really, I believe, we have wrapped up within our beings so many dimensions and so much potentiality and capacity. And it is truly a wonder to watch a woman realize her capacity. No less a mother who is both nurturing and raising a child or a family and creating something else in the world as well. Um, I think that there truly is no greater, at least for me, no greater joy and love than the nurturing of another human being. That is the greatest possible gift that we can actually give to the world, I believe. And that changes culture, that changes entire civilizations when there are enough women really raising children and nurturing children consciously. To bring a business into the world that's your passion or your calling, it requires so much of one's resources, both energetically and financially, and most importantly, really, in terms of our communities and relationships, right? Make sure you have the right community to support you. Make sure you have the friends and the colleagues who will be able to come in and take a corner of this tent to peg up the tent for you, right? Because we absolutely can't do it on our own. And much like raising a child, and that it takes a village, we need the grandmother, our own moms, we need the auntie, the cousin, the sister, right? The neighbor, the much like that, I think business is very similar. And if a mother can bring that sense of how do I bring community into my business, into the founding and the growing of this business, then I think it'll be a little bit simpler. I can't say that business can ever be simple, but it'll be a little bit easier and there'll be a hell of a lot more support. So make sure you've got your community and your in place.
I would also say, frankly, it's more fun to do together. Whenever you're collaborating or brainstorming or
Isn't
just, it's just more fun together.
exactly. And there is also, they say that for example, neurodivergent people, there's a whole thing of like body doubling, right? That they've discovered that if there's somebody else in the room, the neurodivergent person actually performs better, is more focused, etc. I think this is true for all of us, almost all of us, not just neurodivergent people. And so it's so much more fun and it eases, to have somebody who also witnesses your journey, you know,
Yeah.
witness itself forms a container and holds that space for us to be able to move safely forward and feel supported. And like you said, it's a hell of a lot more fun. Why do it alone?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've always wanted a partner in something that I've done, but I've never actually found the right partner to do it with.
What? I'm
But
a
But you know what it is? I haven't found the right partner, but I have tons of partnerships with tons of partners that, while they're not my co-founder, they are partners to making the success of my business, which to me is really instrumental and integral to any growth. So, but I want to take it back again and bring it back full circle to Mother's Day again and moms. And the other thing that I think about when I see moms and founders and dads and founders, I'm not trying to negate them, but my mom was an entrepreneur, was an entrepreneur. So was my dad, but my mom was an entrepreneur. I found it inspirational to me. She started the business at her dining room table with a telephone book and a phone. And, all the work was done there and she had all the files and she grew it to then having a business with 40 employees, which a small business, and she gave them health care. So to me, when I think about that, that is something to strive for, to be able to treat your people well as family, giving them health insurance, providing support, giving them a safe place to come, giving them jobs. And so I also want to celebrate that today, right? What you're building to bring more people in, to be able to share your products everywhere, to be able to build that community, and all those other moms that are founders out there that are doing the same thing, because it's an inspiration. And I think that many times women and men do so many different things and we get inspired regardless. But for me as an entrepreneur, And for this Essential Ingredients podcast, where we are about founders, I just want to honor that on this day.
Absolutely. On Mother's Day, I mean, my mother, God rest her soul, she wasn't an entrepreneur. And yet, what she was the great connector and unifier. Every family member, which in a Persian family, you can imagine, we're talking hundreds of people, different
I got a large Jewish family with like 1 million cousins.
timeline, exactly, right? So her primary language of love was food, right? And it's not lost on me that as my mother's daughter, I have taken that language of love quite literally, right? And into an entrepreneurial iteration of gathering the community, right? Extending that beyond the immediate family to the human family, right? And really, I think that Mother's Day, and yes, you mentioned fathers and entrepreneur fathers, but Mother's Day holds a particular value, and we shouldn't be afraid of singling women out on this day, right?
I think you channel her spirit in your business, and it gives you the power and insight through love and truth to create a foundation and root to grow from.
Absolutely. You
I came up with that on the spot, but
and roots to create a flow that will establish
I forgot the flow one. Sorry.
brilliantly, because I love that. I'd love to be able to actually make a campaign where we can ask our customers to maybe write something where they're using the words as to how they use the products. What greater love is there than the one between a mother and a child? And we see that between the love of Mother Earth for us and how she provides abundance, and the love and the patience and endurance and showing up and presence of mothers for their children every day, every night throughout the world. And the way that we bring that into our businesses as entrepreneurs, right? We just give up. I mean, Expo West, just over a week ago, and I was having a conversation with a very dear friend of mine, very deep in the regenerative, industry and business, and he said, because he saw how exhausted I am, because honestly, sometimes I'm exhausted, just like every mother out there, right? And he said to me, though, unlike being a mother of an actual child that you can't just like just leave the child, right? This is a business, so you can leave it, and I understood his point, but somewhere inside I just heard myself say, and that's the difference between a mother and a father, and I've nurtured this as a mother, so there ain't no now, so
yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I think that there's nobody more motivated also than the founder of the business, right? So me, you, there's nobody more motivated. If somebody else isn't going to do it, we're going to do it because it needs to get done. And I think that's the way it is. And so on this Mother's Day, we're so pleased to have you here. And, I just want to share with those folks, because you did build this, as a mom, and you did build this from being a mom, which was part of the inspiration. And just let people know where they could learn more about Chakra Chai and even find some products. Because we'll also resurface your first podcast so people can learn more about you and your story.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to also create a special promotional code for your listeners.
So those listeners that listened all the way through, pay attention.
Pay attention. Promo code coming up, but so we're going to do, let's say, Essential 7, and I'll create that. So the love products can be found on our website and also on Instagram. Our website is chakrachai.co, and these beautiful products contain rose, arjuna, cardamom. They're absolutely gorgeous. I ate mine, so I don't actually have the product, but I wanted to also show you this beautiful card that you can use, which actually has the affirmations of what you release, what you can, or what you're invited to release, and what you'd like to invite in.
Well,
Oh,
see, I saved mine just for this occasion. I
all
wanted to eat it, but I kept it for the podcast so that those viewers tuning in could see what the little truffles look like. And they have a little green powder on the outside. They look really lovely. I can't wait to have some.
so you'll really feel and smell that beautiful rose and the cardamom and the arjuna and the mulberry in there. And then a few minutes later, you should actually, I mean, initially from the aroma, but then a few minutes later, you should feel like a serenity in the heart space. And they're really delicious and nurturing. So yeah, visit us on chakrachai.co, and our Instagram is at chakrachaiofficial. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, your testimonials, and be in service in any way I can to our moms out there.
We'll be sure to add all of that to the show notes as well. If there's anybody that has any further questions or wants to learn more about this, do follow us. Follow Chakra Chai, follow Essential Ingredients, and we'll make sure to get back to you and connect those individuals interested in chatting further with Hoda, learning more about the products, or just wanting to collaborate in any way, where the doors are open for so many
Always
opportunities. Again,
a pleasure to connect.
thanks so much for joining me.